Hey everybody, it is Thursday morning. I'm actually here at the gallery at Tennessee State University. I'm reviewing a show here, a show of paintings by Joel Beatty. It's really good if y'all haven't seen it yet. I think they had an event literally a week ago to do the opening, but I wasn't able to make it. So honestly, it's kind of even better to come here early on a Thursday morning and see the show in an empty gallery. Lots of good stuff, lots of variety. Those of you who remember Joel will know that he was a wide-ranging artist, and this show doesn't disappoint in that way. It's interesting because Joel is a guy who used to live in Nashville. Now he's lived in Florida, but people have lost touch with him. Evidently, even his family hasn't heard from him in a few years. And the show is all taken from collections around town, which is pretty weird because it feels like oddly like a career retrospective for a relatively young living artist. But cool, and it's great that the community at TSU, remembers Joel so fondly, and he definitely made an impact on the art scene while he was here, and we wish him well. Anyway, so I'm going to write some stuff about that at some point coming up soon. But I wanted to make a quick video to talk about something that happened a few weeks ago. It actually happened before the holidays, but I wasn't allowed to say anything about it. So Metro Nashville Arts Commission is turning 40 this year. So to celebrate their 40th anniversary, they put out a call for artists, and they said they were going to buy 40 pieces of artwork to decorate one of their courthouse buildings. To be honest, at this point, I still don't understand whether it's a brand new courthouse or it's just a renovated courthouse. But regardless, they had a ribbon cutting for this new building, and however you might interpret that. And they're going to decorate it with art, okay? And they're using local art, of course. All of the artists whose work is being purchased, those purchases will actually become part of the permanent public art collection that Metro Arts has included. So along with the giant sculptures in the roundabouts, there'll now be lots of paintings and photographs added to their collection. I'm happy to say that there were 85, I think was the number, 85 people applied or submitted to be a part of the purchase award, and 29 of us got in, and I was one of the 29. So a selection of my Pikes project photos will be in the courthouse. At this point, we're not sure how many. That we met with Metro, or I should say Red Arrow Gallery met with Metro on my behalf to show them all my prints and the photos that I had shown at my exhibitions last year. And there's a couple different plans right now of how they might want to go in terms of prints and things like that. With photography, of course, there's you're talking about images, but the final form of those images could be anything. So I think we're thinking about a number of pieces over a number of size prints that they may be collecting, and I'll update y'all later when I know more about that. At this point, though, it sounds like there'll be a nice chunk of Pikes project going into that purchase award, which has got me pretty excited. So anyway, that was some big news I wanted to announce a week ago. I ended up just posting about it on Instagram because I wanted to make a longer statement about it here on a longer video than I can post on Instagram. It's a bit of a milestone for the Pikes project. That's the first thing I want to talk about. The Pikes project started in 2015. I did 4 different photo essays for the WPLN website. That also turned into a Thrive Award that I got from Metro Arts. That funded an exhibition that I did at Red Arrow last year. That exhibition split off into 2 other exhibitions. One that I did at Sauvage Gallery that also included a poetry event organized by Matt Johnstone that sort of echoed the poetic content of the Pikes project. As you may know, every time I put up one of these new photo essays on WPLN, we also do a poetry spoken word broadcast on the radio to sort of announce it. So it's a multimedia project, and having the opportunity to exhibit those photos at Sauvage as part of a poetry citywide, really, poetry festival on a sunny Saturday afternoon was like ideal, man. It was really, really ideal. So thank you to Ashley and to Matt for helping me put that opportunity together. And the big show came at Red Arrow. I did a show in May. That included myself, and I curated 2 other artists whose work spoke to the Pikes, painter Brady Haston and a drone filmmaker named Brian Siskind, a musician, everything else too. And that show was really well attended, got some great press on that, and that was fun. And then I also, one of my photos from that show was curated into the Art of the South region-wide photo exhibition in Memphis at the beginning of June. It was the L. Ross Gallery, and the curator, they keep saying curator on their press releases and things, but I think Mark Scala would have preferred to have just been called the juror, because he didn't really have the opportunity to actually follow through and curate the show. He just picked the artists and the works that would be in the show, but didn't get to deal with the actual exhibiting of the works and all the other things, the writing and all that stuff that Mark does at the Frisch Center. But Mark is the head curator at the Frisch Center, and to get his stamp of approval on the Pikes project and to be included in a show of art from around the region was a big feather in the cap of the Pikes project, and put the Pikes project right there in the middle of the regional discussion about what's happening in contemporary art in the Southeast. So it's great to be in such good company, and it's great to be thought of so highly frankly by people I respect. There's nothing like people you respect and peers that you admire telling you that you're on the right track, telling you that your work is something important that they're inspired by. So that's been great. Those exhibitions were also important because they helped to establish some things. There were, people wanted to exhibit the Pikes project literally as soon as I put up the first photo essay on WPLN. I put up the photo essay for Gallatin Pike in 2015, and immediately had people asking me if I wanted to show the photographs. I wanted to wait and sort of work through what the project was, because I knew it was going to be a longer term thing over many different episodes and chapters, and I didn't want to do an exhibition and then realize that, oh, wait a second, the project is something different than I thought it was. So I waited on that, but while I was waiting, there were different opinions I came across. Some people felt that, oh, if we show the photos from the photo essays, we obviously have to include all the text from the photo essays. The implication being that the photos themselves couldn't just hold the walls as a photography exhibition. And those exhibitions that we did last year blew that idea out of the water. It was very clear immediately that that as soon as I hung those photos on the wall, you had a very compelling photography exhibition. There were also people who felt that, beyond Nashville, this being a show of photo essays specifically about Nashville roads and neighborhoods and things like that, that beyond Nashville, there wouldn't be much of an audience for the content of the Pikes project. That's completely false as well. Obviously, being included in a regional show and shown in a totally different city, and having the work still speak just as loudly and clearly there, got rid of those myths. So the Pikes project has been sort of taking ground here and there and sort of challenging these ideas that it's limited in some ways, and it's been kind of just smashing through those barriers and denying them, which has been wonderful. And now to be in a situation where the works are being purchased to become part of the permanent public collection of the city, it feels like a milestone. I mean, I'm not done with the Pikes project. I've got one getting ready to launch at WPLN here soon, a brand new look at Lebanon Pike. And there's more Pikes to go, and I'm still curious about the Pikes, and I still have more ideas about things I want to do to promote the Instagram account at Pikes Project and the hashtag Pikes Project, and I want to keep going with it. But that said, it is a good time to sort of stop and say, wow, look at what a long way this has come. And the second part of what I want to talk about now is I want to talk about Red Arrow and the fact that I'm very grateful that Red Arrow has helped me to have sort of a headquarters on Gallatin Pike right down the road from my house. I'm really happy that the Pikes Project has become sort of associated, in some ways kind of associated with East Nashville. The very first Pikes Project was Gallatin Pike. The very first exhibition that I curated for the Pikes Project was in East Nashville at the Red Arrow Gallery. So I'm very, very happy to have a place there, and I want to thank Katie and Tara for for all their support and enthusiasm and help and organizing and everything they did to help make that exhibition happen last year. But I also want to thank them for doing all the heavy lifting when it came to pitching the work to be part of this purchase prize. I just filled out a little bit of information and handed them like an artist statement or something and sent them a LinkedIn resume and some references. I think I had to send them a few people who would not be terrified to stand up and say, yes, I know Joe Nolan, yes, I support what he does. So I had to give them a few elements of stuff here and there, but generally speaking, it was really their pitch that was the final checkmate that got the work over the line as one of the bodies of work or whatever, one of the artists portfolios that got picked for the purchase prize. But more importantly than that, Red Arrow got 6 other artists in for the purchase prize as well. I'm not going to be able to name every single one of them right now. I'm not even going to try to name them all because I know I'm going to miss some people. But I mean, the list of artists who got into this purchase prize is intense, and it's great to be a part of it. And it's even better to be a part of a prize where 6 other people associated with the gallery that I love as like my neighborhood gallery also got in. And it's important to note that Red Arrow's 7 artists in this purchase prize is almost more than double the number of artists that any other gallery got in, according to my, sort of rudimentary, sort of cursory mathematics, right? Just looking through it and sort of like, this person shows there and this person shows there. At the end of the day, Red Arrow almost doubled what anyone else was able to do in terms of grasping this opportunity and making the most of it. And that's exactly what Katie did. I know for a fact that she's worked on this for months to make sure that she was positioned right and knew what she was doing and knew how to proceed, and it really paid off. It paid off for her and it paid off for us. And it's important to note that as a critic in Nashville, not just as an artist, creating photography and music and whatever else and doing poetry and all this other stuff, but also my art criticism is something that I take very seriously. And I was on the phone talking to Katie Shaw like moments after her gallery opened in Nashville, when she first had her spot that she had moved the Red Arrow from Joshua Tree in California to Riverside Village, which I think is technically in Inglewood, but East Nashville, as we know, across the street or next door to Found Object. Little tiny room. I mean, almost nothing to it. It's really hard to believe that it was ever there, frankly, at this point, because her gallery now is one of the best galleries in town in terms of the space and the lighting and the ability to open the door and the 2 different levels. I mean, there's a lot that she can do with that space, and it's a privilege to show work there. And to just go see work there. I love their openings, second Saturday openings. But I want to say also that their outrageous success and the incredible roster of artists they brought to this success, okay? A lot of people who've shown independently, shown with other galleries, those people are now aligned with Red Arrow. And those people all just got their work bought by Metro Nashville Arts, and it'll be part of the city's permanent collection forever. It'll last forever, y'all. Like, this is one of the only things that'll actually last forever. So it's really important for me to note that you know, years and years and years ago, when nobody else was talking about Red Arrow, when nobody else was talking about the East Side art scene, when people were poo-hooing, you know, the idea that there was any kind of real serious visual culture in East Nashville, I was the person who said, this is the game changer. This is the beginning of a whole new paradigm in East Nashville. And now here we are with Red Arrow destroying, absolutely destroying this opportunity, just smashing it, just smashed it, and really sort of, you know, showing up all, you know, I mean, showing up the whole city and just saying, like, deal with it. You know, you want to talk about art in Nashville, you have to talk about Red Arrow Gallery at this point, period. You know, doesn't matter, you know, what people have thought or where they've gone or whatever. You know, some people might feel like, oh, the art scene is, you know, the established galleries down on Fifth Avenue North, which have their place, or, you know, the more cutting edge new scene that's still evolving in Wedgwood, Houston, which is fantastic. I love First Saturday down in Wedgwood, Houston. But this moment, this prize, this big award that they've pulled down in terms of getting 7 artists across the line for this purchase prize, is incredibly significant, and it makes Red Arrow absolutely 100% part of the upper echelon of all the galleries in the city, period. And it definitely means that, you know, when you talk about art in Nashville, you can't leave East Nashville out of that conversation anymore. East Nashville is no longer a place where art is found in, you know, gift boutiques and things like that. Early on in Nashville, places like, what am I trying to say? What's the name of it? Art and Invention Gallery happened, and Plowhouse Gallery happened. But in that case, you have sort of like a gift boutique space. The other one was an artist co-op space that mostly showed work of the artists who belonged to the co-op. And all those were unique, important, foundational, you know, experiments. You know, art and invention still there to this day. But they were all these experiments that helped to sort of seed the soil and tell us that, you know, we want a visual culture in East Nashville. We don't just want it to be a place where all the musicians moved because they could get cheap rent. You know, we want there to be a visual culture here as well. And there's a whole lot of other things that have helped to make that happen in terms of print shops and things that have moved to East Nashville and stuff. But what East Nashville needed for a long, long time was a real fine art, contemporary fine art gallery. And that's what they got when Red Arrow moved to town. And not everybody could recognize it in that tiny room next to a record store. But I did recognize it, and I knew what I was seeing, and I was right. And here we are, all these years later, with Red Arrow taking its rightful place among the best of the best here in Nashville. Anyway, so I am on my way to go to another gallery exhibition at Vanderbilt University, and I just wanted to kill some time now that I can, because their gallery doesn't open until 11 a.m. But anyway, thank you to Metro Arts for making me a part of your permanent collection. I can't think of a better place for the Pikes Project to be represented. Thank you to Katie and Tara at Red Arrow Gallery for all your hard work and your faith and your energy and your power, and for being badasses, man. I don't like working with people who aren't badasses. I like working with people where I know I can put my energy and my efforts in their hands, and I know they're going to slash and burn their way through to victory. That's what I'm interested in. That's who I like to work with, and that's why it's been a pleasure to work with those ladies, and I can't wait for the next adventure. This coming up Saturday is First Saturday. Look for my crawl space column in the paper today. Yeah, it's in the paper today. So Nashville Scene Thursday. Tell you everything that's going on, all the cool stuff you need to see. And if you're not already subscribing to this channel, please subscribe. And you follow me. I post all sorts of great videos from my blog. So check out my playlist, because they're full of like all sorts of crazy countercultural film and sex, drugs, and rock and roll stuff. I post videos here, martial arts videos from my training at the UFC gym up in Hendersonville. I post episodes of our podcast here. I do a podcast with Brian Siskin called Art Fight Podcast, where we talk about the fight to make great art and the creativity that's exhibited in combat sports. Seems like a weird mix. It's exactly not a weird mix. That's the thing we've discovered. Come along for this journey. Subscribe to the channel and leave a comment if you have anything to say, and etc., etc. Follow Pikes Project at Pikes Project on Instagram. Peace. I don't know how to turn this off now.